you say that you're ready, but you won't like it. Silence all the crows, lining up in little rows. A sudden chill surrounds me. Silence all the crows, see come out and say you're old. A sudden chill.
Hello, and welcome to Music of Crows. With me, Steve, and with Crow Junior, Zachary. And we're going to be discussing some of our favourite albums, what they mean to us, breaking down the albums, and basically trying to work out why they've become so important to us. So without further ado, we will crack on with Crow Junior. What are we looking at today?
By the way, by the Red Hot Chilli Peppers.
Which was released in which year?
2002.
Very good.
Sold 286,000 copies first week. And
Yep.
Number 2 on
Got
Billboard.
to number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100.
Yeah.
Samson's being a dick as usual, as viewers of my regular channel will no doubt be aware of.
Remember, Murder of Crows, you got to get it in. Subscribe to Murder of Crows.
Thank you. Got him well trained. So, without further ado, let's jump into this album and do a track breakdown. And then at the end, we will pull it all together, see what we think about it as a body of work, and bring up any other important facts about the album that maybe shaped the way it came together as a piece of work. And with that in mind, jump straight in with track number 1, which is the title track, By the Way.
What were your initial thoughts on By the Way?
When I first heard it, I thought this is, without question, a Red Hot Chili Peppers track.
Yeah.
It sounded very much like their typical style, really.
Sounds a lot like, in some parts, Californication.
Yeah.
Like some of the stuff on there.
Yeah.
And then, what caught me the first time I heard it was the Flea bass.
Yeah.
And that really shaped the track. In my opinion, that really shaped it for me.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was very much a bass-driven track, definitely, and the rap elements that you often find in Chili Peppers tracks were there from the very start.
And it was a lot more electronified.
Yes. Oh, yeah, and you know, but again, like a lot of the older Red Hot Chili Pepper stuff, it was very funk influenced and very bass driven, as you've seen in a lot of previous things. So, as an introduction to the new material from the band, at this point you're probably thinking, this is going to be the same sort of stuff that we've had before. But as we'll soon learn, that's not necessarily quite correct. But for me, my first introduction to the new Chili Peppers material at this time, because you of course weren't even alive, but for me, the first introduction to the new material was with watching the video, which I really, really enjoyed. It was a very, very good video. But you very much got the feeling, oh, here are the Chili Peppers, they're back again, doing what they've always done. And again, listening to this track, you just think, oh, okay, this new album is going to be same as the old album, in a way, just an extension of everything they've done before. But as we'll see as we go through, it's not quite necessarily true. So I think, what have you got any other thoughts on By the Way as a track?
As a track, I like the way it goes from really quite heavy bass to soft.
Yeah.
Soft in the chorus.
Yeah.
And then it goes back and it flips a couple times, and then you eventually come towards the end and it's changed the strumming pattern and then you finish off.
And I think another thing that was always been strong with the Chili Peppers, that you notice in this song as well, is the vocal harmonies, mainly between John Frusciante, the guitarist, and Anthony Kiedis. And again, that will become a theme of this album, but perhaps not in the same ways as you might expect.
Yeah, I think for every song here, all my notes, I think I've got a good backing singers.
Yeah, me too. So harmonies.
Yeah, I know.
So that's the breakdown for us, at least, of By the Way, how it hit us, and how we kind of took that track, especially in first listening to the album in order, really, without context of what the other tracks were, really. So second, we move.
Universally speaking.
Universally speaking.
We should. Universally speaking.
Yes.
Talk about universally speaking.
Oh yeah. I see what you did there. Do you see what he did there? He's a professional, you see.
It starts off with Anthony Kiedis sort of showing his softer side of his voice.
Yeah.
And I really like that. It just shows that he can use his whole voice, because in the past you hadn't really seen much of him experimenting with his voice.
Not in this way, no. And I think this is, immediately just with the song too. You're noticing something slightly different with this album, in that this song is almost not about the bass. It's about the melodics. It's a very, very melodic song, and it moves away from a lot of their funk influences, and it starts to sort of plant the seed, really, that perhaps this album is not going to be like the other albums. Although Californication was very strongly melodic in places, now the melodic nature of this song suggests some sort of shift for the band, perhaps, in terms of how they're going to structure their songs going forward. And again, the vocal harmonies were plain to see, really, throughout this one.
I think with songs like this, it really does show how they do know how to keep up with the times and keep things fresh.
No, absolutely. I think every band has to evolve in some way. Otherwise, you're flogging a dead horse. Otherwise, you're just doing the same album over and over again.
With this track, it shows how they're slowly trying to phase in more electronic stuff as well.
Yes, I mean,
there are some electronics.
Yeah, I think without jumping to the end, where I talk much more about the whole album as a piece of work, I think John Frusciante on this album was trying to actually make his guitar sounds quite electronic in places, just to perhaps give the songs a different texture.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah, by the end of the album, his pedal board must have been... Yeah.
So then we go on to This Is The Place.
I noticed instantly Flea isn't playing slap, he's playing fingerstyle.
Yeah.
And I think it is a way to show that you're versatile with how you can play. And I like that, because I've always thought that he's the best bassist of all time. But
it is a very bass-dominated intro, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's very, very bassy, and again, that's kind of another one of the calling cards of the Chili Peppers, if you like, simply because Flea is so good and he can do everything, that he almost becomes an extra guitarist in a way quite often.
Yeah, especially on like Throw Away Your Television.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll come there later, don't worry, we'll get there. But it was very much about showcasing him in a way where, universally speaking, was perhaps a little reined back in bass. This one immediately hits you with the bass from the word go.
It's just showing what he can do, really.
But there were a lot of different sounds in this whole track, I found.
Yeah. Definitely.
And for me, the way that Frusciante plays the guitar, especially during the chorus parts, almost makes it sound like a helicopter.
Yeah.
It's like a chukka 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 sound,
Almost, he's muting it.
Yes, exactly.
But with an effect on it as well.
Yes, exactly. And that kind of makes it a bit more atmospheric in a way, really.
Yeah.
And again, it's the vocals again, you know, they layer on top of each other, always adds texture to their songs, I find, and again, they're here in full effect. And for me, there was a line in this song that really showed a difference in Anthony Kiedis's lyrics.
Oh, lyrics. I was just about to say, he's on this track. He's really going for it in terms of trying to show that he can do more with his voice than what he did on Californication.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, I think they were all trying to push themselves and move out of a comfort zone, I think.
Like this album here. But that's what Green Day are doing now.
All right. Captain Green Day, by the way. Yeah, there's a line in this where it says about on the day my best friend died, I couldn't get my copper dry. And that's a reference to him still being, Kiedis that is, still being in addiction on the day that his best friend died. And his best friend at that time was the old guitarist from the Red Hot Chili Peppers who did die.
Yeah.
So for me, that's a lot more personal than we're used to hearing from the Chili Peppers.
Yeah, usually we're just...
Because normally it's still
like spies from China.
Normally it's still like fully random, isn't it? It just goes here and there and doesn't necessarily mean anything, or if it does, you've got to read a lot into it.
Like in Californication.
Whereas with this, it's kind of a lot more open and honest. And I think at this point, we were about 2 years into Anthony Kiedis being sober off substances. So I don't know whether that gave him a new perspective, maybe. I don't know. But it's something to think about, really, isn't it?
Yeah. You can make it of anything, really.
Of course you can.
But
of course you can.
I think around this time he must have been struggling, so he's going to try show that in his music.
And I guess it's going to be all the things that were going on in his mind at that time. Wasn't it, really.
Yeah. It does hit deep if you really dig into it.
Well, this is it exactly.
Should we move on?
Yeah. So then we're moving on to
Dosed.
Yeah.
Instantly, I'm gonna say my notes. There's two things.
Yeah.
I like the reverb. He's definitely using a pedal in there.
Yeah.
Also, I think the song drags quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought it sounded a bit more of a lullaby to me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've written down there romantic sensibility, but I get what you mean. It's very singy-songy, really, isn't it? And again, it's got a lot more of the melodic feel that you've not tended to get from the Chili Peppers in the past, really. But yeah, I mean, I know that this song did get limited release as a promotional single, I think, but I don't know why, because it's certainly for me not one of the most special songs on the album. I mean, it's good. I mean, you know, a filler song for the Chili Peppers is 10 times better than most bands can do, but it didn't feel like anything special in the context of the album.
No,
really.
Considering this was meant to show what they can do.
Yes,
it really put me to sleep.
Oh, right, okay, yeah, well, I can understand what you mean.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then we move on to Don't Forget Me.
Yeah.
What were your feelings about this one?
I really liked the mutes in the strums to make it flow a bit more.
Yeah.
I think, I can't remember the strumming pattern completely, but I think it was 3 mutes, 2 strums, 3 mutes, 2 strums.
Right.
And I really liked that. It was almost like Smells Like Teen Spirit, so it goes dun dun dun.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. It's probably one of my favourite tracks on the album.
Right, okay. Well, for me, a bit like Dosed, really. For me, it felt a bit like filler. It really did.
Well, yeah.
Well, I mean, what I did really like was from the very start. There's kind of an echo on the vocals, which kind of gives it a different, slightly different feel to it. But as I say, for me, it was. It's almost like each line and each verse is pulled and stretched, and it feels like it's been elongated a bit too much, you know, and it just feels like it's it's just too stretched and just too. It was just there, as far as I'm concerned.
On my notes, I put he uses his voice incredibly well, but it's not on the right song.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
If it were on a lot of other Chili Peppers songs, it would have been really good. But just not for this specific track.
So now it's perhaps one of the better known songs on the album. We're going on to the Zephyr song. So what did you... Well, hope we don't get copyright claim for that.
Just speak it out.
So what do you think of the song? And, you know, especially first time you heard it, perhaps.
I enjoyed the song the first time I heard it.
Yeah.
I've written down here, he's almost rapping in some of the verses.
Yeah.
And I really love the hip hop influence.
Yes.
Especially in songs like Can't Stop.
Yes.
They just use it so well. And considering that they're a rock group who can bend the rules to almost be rapping just the whole way through, I think it's amazing how they can be so versatile with it.
Yeah, I mean, for me, you know, Zephyr song has some love-centric lyrics, really.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's, in terms of the chorus, it's certainly very floaty, but it does have, as you say, some of the rap-like elements to it, that, which for me is a stamp of the Chili Peppers, really. And how they fuse those, you know, those elements together, really. But again, it's a song that seems to me dominated by the overarching vocal harmonies.
And also, John Frusciante dominates it again.
Oh yeah.
That's
no, I would definitely agree with that. But I guess up until this point, I perhaps hadn't appreciated how integral he was. Because for me, in the past, I've always seen the Chili Peppers as Chad Smith, Flea, and Anthony Kiedis.
Yeah, and then, I have.
And then whichever guitarist, you know. But for me, this shows how much a part of what the Chili Peppers have recently been, as well as what they would go on to achieve afterwards, has him at the core of it as well, you know.
And considering I think this is probably their three biggest albums.
Yeah.
Californication, Can't Stop, and Stadium Arcadium. He's in all three of them, and they've all done exceptionally well.
Oh,
so
without question.
That just proves that he is, I'm gonna say, the best Red Hot Chili Peppers guitarist out of all three of them.
Well, I mean, you know, I think it's safe to say he's the one who completes the set, really. Yeah. I think he fits with them.
He's a big boss.
Well, he fits with them in terms of personality as well as style, you know? And they fit together, really. So then we move on to Can't Stop, which is another one of the well-known songs on the album.
I think, I'd say, it's probably the biggest on the album now.
Yeah.
Because it's been all over TikTok recently.
Yeah. And I think it's no great surprise that the most well-known and recognised songs from the album are the ones that are probably the most recognisable Chili Pepper style. They've got the rap-like elements, and they fuses the funk with the melodic nature, you know, which is where they're at their best, I think, is where they put those things together, you know.
I've got to say, though, I love the build at the start, where Chad Smith is on the snare. They're all just building up to it, and then it just completely stops and just focuses on the riff / melody itself, and that's why this song is so special to me. It's mainly because of that build at the start, because he's on his snare, he's on his floor tom, and he's going,
oh yeah, absolutely,
and you know, it's just quite bassy, and I like bass, so that's probably why I like the Chili Peppers, because of flow.
So after that, where do we move on to in terms of the album?
I Could Die For You.
Oh yes, that's right.
I found it was really soft and gentle, and it was really. I think they're playing it safe. I think.
Yeah.
They're experimenting, because the whole album is just one big experiment, really.
Yeah.
But I think they're kind of playing it safe.
Right.
Just, you know, as you say, it's a filler.
In a way, but what for me stood out, certainly in the context of the album and everything we'd heard up to that point, is that certainly in the first part of the song, there are no vocal harmonies.
Yeah.
And I think that they are noticeable by their absence, you know? You notice that they're not there. And then when they come in later in the song, you get it adds kind of a bit more texture to it. But I agree with you, I do think it feels a bit like filler.
I'm going to build on that, and I'm going to go back to Can't Stop with the vocal harmonies. So after the bridge, it's straight back into it.
Yeah.
And then you can tell that the song's going to come to an end because the vocal harmonies go, and that's just, I can hear it every time.
Yeah.
They just cut off.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really good way to end it. And then obviously all the instrumentals cut off.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Back to I Could Die For You.
Yeah, I mean, as I say, for me, you know, when you don't have those vocal harmonies at the start of the song, you notice it. You just think, oh, what's going on here then? It's something different. And it's different just because it's not there. And then they kick in later in the song and it adds a bit more texture. But as a general, you know, but in terms of the song itself, yeah, I mean, it's kind of just there, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, as I say, filler for the Chili Peppers is 10 times better than most other bands could do.
Except Green Day.
All right, easy tiger. But yeah, in the context of this album, it just feels like it's making up the numbers, really.
Yeah, and I mean, it sold 286,000 records in the first week, so it's even the fillers are amazing.
I mean, of course they are. I mean, not every song has to break the world apart, you know.
No.
It just has to be a strong body of work, which up till now it has been, without question.
That's why I respect the Chili Peppers so much.
Yeah.
Every single song they make, you can tell that they've put a lot of effort into it. Whereas other bands, you can sort of tell when they start to like clip being a bit lazy.
Yeah.
With songwriting, like with the fillers.
Yeah.
Some people are just kind of lazy with it.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then we move on to Midnight.
Ooh. I love. In the background, you can hear like sounds of the midnight. Like, I'm not sure if these are the specific ones, but I've like crickets chirping, owls hooting.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really cool because not many songs do that.
Yeah.
Except songs like the Black Parade or whatever it's called.
Oh right, yeah.
You know,
I see what you mean. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's songs like that, and especially like Midnight, that really like entrap me, because enclose me within it, because I love that it's almost immersive.
Yes, no, I agree with you, definitely. And I don't know if they used a string quartet or whether it was just Frusciante or one of the others using some other effects, but it had the feel of strings opening the song, you know. So it kind of set it apart from the normal Chili Peppers of, you know, full-on bassy, drummy, you know. It kind of, again, as you referred to one of the other songs, it's quite gentle, you know.
But I do have to say, it starts out really gentle, and it is gentle throughout the whole song, but you can, over the song, it is like building up very ever so slightly. It is still soft when you get to the end, but you can feel it building up, and then reaching its climax and
Yeah.
when it's at its heaviest.
Yes. And coming away from melodic, back to what for me I think would be seen as a bit more typical Chili Peppers. We've got Throw Away Your Television.
Ah, yes. I'm going to say my favourite on the album.
Right, okay.
I think, because I'm a bit of like a Flea lover, I'm a bit biased towards him because I love him so much.
Yeah.
The bass just acts as the melody itself, and it's just really good.
Yeah.
That's why it's probably one of my favourite Chili Peppers songs.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I can, immediately tell the funk influence and therefore the Flea influence, because it's very bass heavy, bass driven. Again, kind of a rap feel at points, but you say it's one of your favourites. I mean, to me, it's I don't mind it. It is one of the strongest songs on the album, but it's a long way from a favourite on the album for me.
Yeah, we'll talk about favourites at the end.
We will. And then we move into a completely different direction with Cabron.
It's a Spanish style song, and I've only done that now. It's because I've written down. They're really trying to dig into the Spanish theme with this song, with him rolling his R's, John Frusciante playing an acoustic guitar, and I don't know why they've decided to dig into this. Probably because it's a Spanish romantic.
Perhaps,
there's a lot of love songs on the album,
and it's definitely got a Spanish flavour to it, and I think if this is the band trying different things, then this is obviously a different thing, isn't it? Melodically, I do like it. I like the melodies, I like the idea. I'm not quite sure it works enough to be a standout for me. And
it just seems like the Chili Peppers doing a Hispanic style song. It just doesn't seem right. Not many people could pull that off, and I'm still waiting.
And now we move on to one that's going to divide us, I reckon. We have Tear. What do you think, Crow Jr.?
It's definitely a song. You can take the rest. You can take the rest of this song, all right?
Oh, can I? Thank you. And this, for me, is one of my favourites on the album. It really is. It really is. Again, it's very, very melodic and very dominated by the harmonies, which again adds texture. But to me, it also has very strong influence from the Beatles. I'm really, really feeling that, especially during the chorus. And there is, again, I don't know if this was played by a guest or whether it was an effect added later, but there was a short trumpet section that I particularly liked during it as well. And for me, it's so far removed from normal Chili Peppers, but it doesn't detract from that. This is where the band are clearly experimenting, but for me, it really, really works.
Alright, on Mercury.
Yes.
Oh, I love the trumpet jabs throughout the whole song. It's just I just love the jabs.
I mean, for me, it's almost ska. It's almost got this ska feel to it, and jazzy element.
That's what I was thinking when I put scatty. I was probably thinking
ska. Yeah, it's definitely got that feel to it. And again, this adds to the feeling that this is the Chili Peppers trying a bit of this and a bit of that, and seeing what sticks, really.
Yeah, usually they're funk rock, but I think they're really digging into the funk slash ska.
And going into different directions with the ska, with the Spanish feel of Cabron. So it's trying different things, and for me, I like this. I like this song. I do like this song.
Yeah, I like it. But it's probably not good enough to get on my playlist, but I think it's definitely something worth having a listen. Moving on to Minor Thing.
Yes.
Hip hop influences. Say it on almost every song.
Yes.
There's definitely hip hop influences throughout this whole album.
Oh, without question.
Yeah.
There always have been with Chili Peppers, though.
Yeah, but this really highlights that they're trying to dig deep into the hip hop, because that's when hip hop like started to explode.
But for me, it's more the other way. For me, that the rap influences are like a safety zone for them. Because they've used them so successfully over their entire career, going right back to the start, you know? That's always been a strong part of their presentation, of their character, of their sound, if you like. For me, it's a bit of a comfort zone for them, I think. There is a strong case of if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And when they do it well. Of course they do, because they've got years of experience of doing it. But this, again, as a feel of the album being a lot more melodic, I think, up to this point, I think there is a move away from perhaps the more rap elements towards the more melodic side of things with this song. That said, for me, it's a good song, but, it's not one of the best on the album for me.
I've got to say, I do like the riff. I definitely like the riff slash melody. And I could pick it up, there's definitely effects on the guitar.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much every song, except Can't Stop has effects on the guitar.
Yeah.
And I think they've used effects well for the most part.
And then we move on to Warm Tip. What do you think?
At the start and there's a middle section, the vocals are really weird and different. It sort of builds up.
Yeah.
So he starts off soft and then he builds up into one.
Yeah.
And I think I see what he's going for, but
yeah,
I think it could have been done. It could have been done a lot better.
Yeah, for me, like much of the rest of the album, it's very, very melodic. He's always been a great singer. They've always been a great band. But for me, more so than any other, we've only got one other song after this one, and for me, more so than any of these other songs, it's the one that I would perhaps have left off the album. It's the most filler that I've heard up until this point in the album. Really, it's nice, it's pleasant. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, it doesn't add anything to the album. Really.
Yeah, I think it probably would have been better on a filler on one of their earlier albums.
It just feels like an afterthought, really. It just feels like oh, just throw that on there as well. Why not?
But
yeah,
again, it's still a quality piece of music.
Of course it is.
But
when you compare it to the rest of the album, you just think, that's all right, isn't it?
If this album didn't have this song on it, it would not change my opinion on the album.
No, not at all. And then we end with Venice Queen.
It's a good and save one of the best till last.
It is a very, very strong song.
Oh, I love the intro. It gives you. It's almost like before you do a curtain call.
Yeah.
All the orchestra come out and just do their own little thing.
Yeah.
It sort of before they close the curtain, it's just showing you what all of them can do.
Exactly. I think one of the most noticeable things about the song is how long it takes for the vocals to kick in. You're talking well over a minute before
it's like a minute and 20
starts,
or something. Yeah.
So it's very much about look at this music that we can make even without Anthony adding to it,
Yeah, I have to say, during the chorus,
Yeah.
I think that's when you can really tell that the Chili Peppers have perfected backing vocals.
Oh, yeah.
It goes, where you come from. Oh,
Yeah, absolutely.
They've perfected it.
And those are the layers and textures, I think, that they've learned over time that really give more character to a song,
Yeah.
really add to the song. And again, very, very melodic, hardly any sort of funk and as a result of that, the bass is kind of a bit more in the background.
Yeah.
But not that that's a bad thing. It's just more part of the whole band sound rather than.
On that note, I think we should move off of describing, breaking down the songs, and move on to the points that we want to make about the album in particular.
Yes, absolutely. And on the note of the bass being hidden, you had something you want to say about that? I mean, I think, in the context of this, By the Way coming together as an album, between the end of the Californication World Tour in 2000 and this album being released in 2002, John Frusciante would later describe this time as among the best of his whole career and one of the best times of his life, because he was deeply, very, very involved in songwriting at this time, to the point where he was writing an awful lot of the melodies and even some of the bass lines for the tracks before they'd been recorded, in terms of doing demos and things like that. It seems like it was less of a team effort and much more of Frusciante getting really, really inspired and churning out all of these ideas and then bringing them to the band almost as finished products, really, without the lyrics. And as we say, Anthony Kiedis, when he came to adding lyrics, they were very, very heartfelt, which I think reflected this period in his life as effectively the first time in probably 30 years that he'd been fully sober, and he was seeing the world through different eyes, if you like. But the result of that was that Flea was feeling a little sidelined, I think, at this point.
Yeah, because you go from almost all responsibility to little to none, and then he's obviously felt like he would do a lot better somewhere else.
Yeah, perhaps, and I think it's been said that this is as close as he's ever come to leaving the band, because he felt he was either not being allowed to offer anything, or whether he didn't feel that he had anything to add, which is of course ridiculous, because you can always feel always feel Flea's fingerprints on a song,
especially with songs like "Throw Away Your Television." He still has that responsibility. And that's, in my opinion, one of the best. Chili Peppers tracks.
Any Chili Peppers song that's got a funk feel to it, it's got his fingerprints on it, because to have that funk influence, it has to be bass driven. Yeah. And there's nobody better to drive a bass song than Flea.
Yeah.
Because he's obscenely talented. I mean, they all are, but I think when they came into the writing of this album, John Frusciante was going through a very, very productive period in terms of his own writing style and everything else. And I think he came with these ideas, and I think Flea was perhaps had his nose put out of joint a bit, because John Frusciante was presenting almost completed songs, and then he felt like he had to take a step away instead of saying, okay, let's look at this framework, what can I add to this? But I think as the recording process went on, this is where you see some songs get fleshed out, like Can't Stop and Throw Away Your Television.
Yeah.
And By the Way itself, really.
Yeah.
That really feel like team efforts. You know, it feels like there's a bit of everybody in it. You know, whereas the melodic feel that dominates most of the album, it seems to have come from Frusciante and his different approach, if you like. But when you take it all together as a body of work, it does highlight all of them and how important they all are to the band, really.
But I do have to say, it's a brilliant album. It's for me the second best Chili Peppers album.
Mm-hmm.
And I do have to say, you have someone like Flea on your team, and you've got him on the bench. And I think some of the songs like Hot Tape would have been so much better if he had more of an influence on the songs, and they would become less like fillers and more like world hits.
Could have been something more, couldn't they? I think, yeah.
Well,
and I think there is an element of that to it.
Yeah.
But I mean, as a piece of work, you can see at points where they're pushing themselves, trying different things. Some of them work, some of them not so much.
Yeah.
But again, because they're so incredibly talented as artists, not so good for them is still exceptional by anybody else's standards.
Yeah.
So even when they don't quite hit the mark in terms of perhaps achieving what they'd hoped to, they still pull off a good song. So, you know, to me, there's only one song on here that I would completely remove.
Hot Tape.
And that's Warm Tape, yeah.
A Warm Tape, yeah. Same thing.
Yeah.
I would completely remove...
Don't say it. Don't say it. Oh, he said it.
I think Warm Tape is definitely up there to be removed.
Yeah.
Speaking of songs, let's flip it around. What are your 3 favourite songs on the album?
Tear. And it is... I know you're going to say that one, so I'll leave that one to you. I would say then, if I had to pick another 2, it would be By the Way itself.
Yeah.
And then This Is the Place for me.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that. Alright, for me, I think By the Way.
Yeah.
Throw Away Your Television.
Alright.
And the Zephyr song.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that.
All 3.
That's why I left out Can't Stop, because that's one of my favourites on the album.
Yeah, that is one of my favourites on the album. But I feel like it's been drilled into my head.
Okay.
It's been played everywhere for the past like 4 months or so, and I've had enough. I've had enough.
I blame TikTok.
Yeah, I blame TikTok.
Any older viewers, ask the kids. All
right, should we get into the general statistics of the album?
We can. I don't know if we need them, but we can.
May as well.
All right.
It was released 9th of July 2002.
Yeah.
I mean, the album does have a bit of a summery feel about it in terms of cover.
Yes.
I think I get that illusion from the album cover itself.
He's a professional. Look at this, eh?
It peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Top 200.
Yeah.
And where are the singles?
No, down here.
Yeah.
There you go.
Singles from By the Way are there. Feel free to take a little peek at them. Pause it, because I'm not waiting. Alright, the real statistics. It was recorded from November 2001 to May 2002. The studio, I can't.
Would you like me to read it?
That's the studio right there.
Oh, okay.
The genre is alternative rock, funk rock, pop rock, which
we know.
The length is 68 minutes 27 seconds.
Could have been less without Warm Tape, but well, what am I to say?
We had to endure that today.
Yeah.
The label Warner Bros. And the producer Rick Rubin.
I mean, they'd worked with Rick Rubin before, so it was kind of a no-brainer for them to go back to work with him, because they enjoyed working with him. He gave them freedom when they were recording, apparently, so it stood to reason that they would work with him again.
I think we've covered mostly everything to do with.
So that's been our look back at, by the way, one of the most iconic Chili Peppers albums.
Arguably one of the most iconic rock albums of the fucking century.
Echo stuff. We've got another 5 minutes to play with anyway, so.
It's one of the most recognisable, iconic rock albums of the 2000s and of the Chili Peppers discography. And yeah, I think we've covered everything we need to cover.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's more than I think any of their other albums. It was probably their most experimental in terms of different melodic styles. And I think it was a critical part of their evolution as a band.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a shame that Flea felt perhaps a little pushed out at times, but that's not necessarily a bad thing as well, because it could be that he was too dominant previously, and it may be that this helped them strike a better balance, really, between all of the members. I don't know.
And the fact that he has to work even harder to get his place back, and that only means better music.
It does. But yeah, definitely a very iconic album. And certainly a favourite of both of us, I think, isn't it?
Yeah, and the Chili Peppers as a band, this is definitely not the last time we'll be talking about them.
No, not at all.
This is just the beginning.
Yeah, I mean, they are music icons, but it was one that we agreed that was definitely worth investigating as a first episode for our new series. There was certainly a lot to talk about, and we look forward to seeing you in the next episode of Music of Crows. And if you leave any suggestions for albums you may want us to look at in the comments, that would be very much appreciated. But with that said, that's Crow Jr. I'm Steve. Samson's hanging around at the edge there, like a diva bastard, as he always is.
Yep.
And we will see you when we see you.
Say that you're ready, but you won't like it. You say that